We are looking at question 24. This is just basically a linear function where you've got this temperature on this some new temperature scale T is designed so that 0 is equal to negative 24. So you know that this point, 0, if T is kind of like your X and then your Y is kind of is C, then negative 24 would be your coordinates, okay? And then it says if you increase 5 degrees on the T scale, so if you go up 5 degrees on the T scale, then what you have done is increased 8 degrees on the C scale, plus 8, correct? All right, so that means your slope, which would be the Y increase over the X increase, your slope would be 8/5. So, looking at this, I've got my y-intercept right there, 0, negative 24. So I know that b is negative 24. So I know that the equation here is c is equal to 8/5 times t minus 24. Okay, now I'm going to do this in a different way in just a second because I wouldn't necessarily say that this is intuitive, and in all likelihood I probably would treat this a little bit differently just because it's a test you're going to be taking, and so I probably would do something that's a lot more solid and modeled, but we'll talk about that in just a second. It's asking what is the temperature on the T scale that's equivalent to 80 degrees on the C scale. So it's asking you if you plug 80 in for C and solve for T. So I'm going to add 24 to both sides. So I'm getting 104 is equal to 8/5 T. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, times 5/8 times 5/8, because 8s and 5s go to 1. And so now I just have to do 8 into 104. Remember, this is like 104 over 1, so 8 into 104, and I'm just going to do the math right here, is equal to 1, 8, 24. Okay, 3 times 8 is 24, so that would be 5 times 13 equals T, and 5 times 13 is 50 plus 15, which is 65, is equal to T. So the answer is C. Now, I probably wouldn't have done it like this, like I said, on the actual test, just because it's kind of nebulous when you're doing an equation and you might kind of doubt yourself, am I doing this right? So essentially what they give you is all the information you need to make a double number line. And to do that, it's basically T. It says if you start at 0 on T, okay, so this is going to be 0. That's equal to, on the C scale, that's equal to negative 24 on the C scale. It says that every time you jump 5 on the T scale, you're jumping 8 on the C scale. So essentially what I'm going to do is make kind of these vertical jumps. I'm going to have to make quite a few, so I'm going to get them kind of close together here, like little railroad tracks. And we're going to assume that I'm drawing these evenly spaced. So every time you jump 5 on the T scale, so starting at 0, this would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the C scale, except I'm not moving by 5s, because a jump of 5 on the T scale is equal to 8 on the C scale. So if I move up 8, I'd be at negative 16, then negative 8, then at 0, then at 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 64, what's next, 72, yep, 80, wait a minute, I didn't do that right, 48 plus 8 is 56, I missed one, 56, then 64, then 72, and then 80, and then 88. And I know that I've already passed where I have to be, but 96 plus, that's 104, plus 8 is 112, plus 8 is 120. Okay. It's asking about 80 degrees on the C scale. And if you look right here, that's 80 degrees. What does it equate to? 65. And so that's another way that you could have solved that same problem.